Hello and welcome to episode 78 of Radio Gorepress. If you're a first time listener, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. We love you and we're happy to have you in the Gore-fam.
Hey.
Before we start, don't forget to check out radiogorepress.com. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook by searching for Radio Gorepress. Or, you know, any of them. Not all of them, any of them.
All of them. Has to be all of them.
And give us a like and subscribe on YouTube if you would be so kind. I'll include all the relevant links in the blurb.
Hey.
Without further ado, I'm Sarah. If
I'm
you're
Rosie.
returning, you already know that. Joining me is Rosie.
Hi.
We don't have a Phil this week.
No, we are
Regrettably.
missing a Phil. He had to go be a dad or something.
Or something.
Something much less interesting than what
Yes.
we're doing.
He had to go parent.
Sounds awful.
It does. I have very little knowledge of that. I'll be honest.
It involves small people.
They're the worst kind of people.
They just cry and poo and stuff.
Yeah.
It's dreadful. Anyway, Phil, we love you and we love your daughter. Yeah. Shit. 78 episodes.
78.
We're doing good.
Don't jinx it.
Sorry. I'm very sorry.
We don't want to be victims of our own hubris. We've come too far.
Oh, we're going to end up with a sense of peripeteia. That's the real word.
You just made that.
I did not
No,
just
I
make
believe
that.
you.
Thanks.
I'm just dumb.
You're not dumb.
I'm sure it's a real word. You said it very confidently.
I did. I've said many things very confidently.
And I believe them all.
And weirdly, not all of them have been correct or true.
More fool me.
How have you been, Sarah?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I went up north for a bit.
Lovely.
Went to visit Manchester. Is it?
I mean, family time is always a good time.
It was nice. And do you know what? I feel I've been very harsh about my hometown in the past.
Oh.
And I think that's largely to do with, like, associations and shitty memories and people I don't want to bump into.
Like emotional sort of links.
Yeah, that sort of thing colours a place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I actually walked around. I went to the other end of town that I never go to, and I saw it with fresh eyes and a new appreciation, and it was actually quite lovely.
I think when you grow up in a place and you see it for such a long time, like day in, day out, there's no magic. There's no mystery or magic to it at all. Whereas, like, I grew up in Whitstable, for example, and
which is down road,
and like everyone loves it. Everyone always raves about how great Whitstable is,
Whitstable.
and I was always like, I don't get it. It's a dead end town. Like nothing ever happens.
That's why I.
But
like
now
it.
coming back home to visit, walking through Whitstable, I'm like, this place is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Why did I not enjoy this while I was living here?
I think for me, having grown up in Manchester, the novelty of being this close to the ocean is still fresh.
Yeah.
That hasn't worn off yet.
Yeah, for sure. Like, my parents have lived there since 72, and I think
That's crazy.
I think they've been to the seaside maybe like 10 times in that time. And we
You do,
literally
though.
live a minute away from the city.
But you do though, don't you? When you live somewhere, you put all the kind of like what you would deem as touristy.
Like a day out.
You put it off.
Yeah,
It's like,
for sure.
we live here, it's fine. We can do that whenever.
Busman's holiday, isn't
Yeah.
it?
That's really interesting.
Seaside
How have you
holiday.
been?
I have been alright. Neither good nor bad. I am ambivalent towards all of my current situations.
And life in general.
Yes. Life is terrible, love is dead. But no, everything's ticking along nicely.
4 minutes in and we've already got to the existentialism. That might be a new record.
What more did you expect, realistically,
Nothing.
from me?
Nothing.
Yeah, stuff's good. I have been spending a lot of time organising my life.
Isn't that just magical and cathartic?
So good.
I did that just before, over Christmas.
Chucking shit out.
Oh, I've thrown away so much stuff. I've taken so much to the charity shop. I've sold so much stuff. You can actually see the wall above my wardrobe now.
Oh my god.
It's fantastic.
And you get the warm fuzzies from taking things to the charity shop as well.
You say that. I got quite annoyed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was just before the election.
Oh.
And I handed some stuff over and it was the night before the election. And she was asking if I had a gift aid card. And I said I did, and then she added, assuming there'll still be gift aid after tomorrow. I mean, to which I was like, oh, I'm sure there will be. I can't imagine anybody getting rid of
why
that.
did anybody take it away?
And her response was, I don't care who gets in, as long as it's not Corbyn. And I was like, well,
bye-bye!
This is the last of my shit you get. To the RSPCA it goes.
Would Corbyn take... this is not the time or place for this
It's
conversation.
not. I imagine gift aid is here to stay.
I like gift aid. Do they have gift aid in America?
I don't know.
Do you have gift aid in America?
I mean, you can ask the microphone. I'm not sure. If it answers you, we have problems.
Shit. I would be interested to know if there's any kind of like tax relief thing that they've got going
like
on
a government assisted
subsidy.
Yeah, subsidy. That's the word I was
Do
looking
job.
for. Do job.
I'm doing an insertion.
I saw
hand
you.
motion.
Yeah, you look like you were about to sort of help a cow give birth.
Maybe I was.
Right in there.
Oh. I've missed my calling.
So, the first half of the show is generally where we talk a bit about what we've watched.
Yes.
Although...
Funny story.
Now that Phil has left, he was the only one of us who'd watched much.
Yeah.
I've got a couple bits of news to talk about and a couple films, but they are not horror, interestingly.
Okay, I'm all about this. I'm all for branching out.
Mm-hmm.
So what you got?
I mean, I would say predominantly my genre of choice is obviously horror.
Yes.
But I do like to branch out on occasion.
You like your kind of feel-good...
I do love a good feel-good movie. I don't generally sign up for romantic comedies because they are horse shit that peddle a false reality and give women unrealistic expectations.
What about dance films with romance involved?
Acceptable. Anything with
Step Up.
If it's got a good choreography.
Yeah.
Step Up 1 to 5 are definitely...
There are more?
In my DVD collection.
There are more?
Have you not seen Step Up 2, The Streets?
Yes, of course I've seen Step Up 2, The Streets.
It's the best one!
We watched it together.
I have made quite
We
a few
watched
people watch that
all
film.
of Step Up that you had, and then we watched...
They are the Step Ups collectively.
District...
Oh, District 13.
District 13 and District 13U.
Yeah!
Which made me go to CEX and buy both of them on DVD.
Hell yeah.
I own that shit. Yes!
And is your life enriched because of it?
Oh, undoubtedly.
Then you're welcome.
So, yeah, what you've been watching?
I watched, because I went to stay with my parents, I took some films that I thought would have wider appeal, because my parents are not horror fans.
Yeah.
Although, my mum had seen The Guest, which was one of the 3 films I took.
Yeah, I take umbrage to that, because she didn't like it.
She didn't like it.
Me and Susan are going to be having words.
Have you got beef with my mum?
I have got a definite, tiny but perfectly formed bone to pick with your mother.
You might not want to cross her. You've not seen her angry.
Oh. Oh, God.
She wasn't nicknamed the Kraken when she was a teacher for nothing.
I love it. My mum just had a whistle when she was a teacher. And it literally said the Acme Thunderer on it. I'm not kidding.
Was it red?
No, it was a metal whistle. I'm sorry. But... yeah, I imagine that your mother would be quite terrifying. But I am ready to die on that hill, to be honest. The Guest is an amazing film. It's phenomenal.
I tried to put a different spin on it for her.
Yeah.
I said...
Because
she loves Marvel movies.
Right.
So I said, how about if you view it as, like, Captain America goes rogue? And she was like, oh, okay.
But that
she thought that was
isn't
acceptable.
Captain America. They're both blonde, I guess.
I think...
Your mum wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
But she's, like, a Downton Abbey fan. She'd only ever seen him in, like, Stiff Upper Lip.
Oh.
Period.
Do you think, like,
crap.
she's linking Dan Stevens in Downton Abbey to...
Yes.
Dan Stevens being a psychotic murderer?
I think it was too much of a departure for her, and a...
No, I can get on board
feeble
with that.
pensioner brain couldn't take it.
I mean, she's still wrong. She's still very wrong.
She's incorrect.
I understand her reasonings a little bit more.
But the other 2 films that I did take...
Yes.
That went over very well with my mum and my dad were St. Vincent and Wild Rose.
That's the noise of, I don't know what you're talking about.
St. Vincent is a film that I never see anybody talk about, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my little heart. It's Bill Murray.
Okay, sorry, so full of wine. Yep.
Sorry. Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
But not doing the stupid slapstick humour, just being normal.
Just being Melissa McCarthy.
And funnier for it.
Okay.
When she's not trying too hard, I much prefer her. She's actually really good in this. Jaden Martell, who was Bill in It Chapter 1, is the little kid.
Yes. Yeah.
So basically, single mother and son move in next door to a really, really cranky, loner, old guy, Bill Murray.
Oh.
He ends up looking after the boy after work. They form like a really...
like wholesome?
A wholesome but like dysfunctional sort of father-son relationship almost.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a coming-of-age movie, but I would say it's more pivotal for Bill Murray's character than the boy.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
It's tragic in places. It's hilarious in places. It's got a really good soundtrack.
Is it going to make me have feelings?
It might. It may well.
Fuck.
But it's such a good film, and I just never see it mentioned, and I don't understand why.
I've genuinely never heard of it.
No, I don't know many people who have. It's so good.
Did it have, like, a cinema release?
A small one.
Right, okay.
But it's only a few years old.
No, I've never even come under my radar.
But
and I love Bill Murray.
Kind of A-list cast, like Naomi Watts is in it as well.
Wow, okay.
So, God knows why it flew so far under the radar. The other one, Wild Rose, is one of my favourite films of last year.
Okay. But not horror.
Parentheses,
Ooh.
not horror.
Oh, okay, right.
It's Jessie Buckley, who you know I love.
Yes.
Was in Beast and Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
She plays a Glaswegian mother of two who... At the start of the film, she's released from prison. You don't know what she's in there for. You sort of find out the details later. She's a bit reckless. She's a bit headstrong. She is just massively entrenched in the world of country music.
That seems like the perfect role for Jessie Buckley.
Yes. And oh my God, her singing voice.
Oh, really?
In-fucking-credible. Because apparently before she was an actress, she was on a show called I'd Do Anything. Which was like...
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I think it's like a reality show where...
Yeah, it's one of these typical, like, The Voice kind of thing.
Yeah, so primarily a singer and, like, an actress second, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely floored me. Really powerful voice. And the original music in it is excellent.
And it's all country.
It's all country. It's so heartwarming. It's just such a goddamn wholesome movie.
Does it make you feel really comfortably white trash?
Yeah. I cry buckets at the end of it.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
no.
I've seen it twice and I've cried twice.
If you had feelings, if you cried at it, I'm going to be a mess.
Yes, likely. But you should watch it.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I think that'd be a good film for us to watch together, actually.
Definitely.
Like, girls' night in kind of thing.
Let's double bill it. Let's watch that, get the tears out, and then watch Booksmart.
Oh, yeah. No,
the right way round.
Okay.
But yeah, it's genuinely a film I would recommend to absolutely everybody. And that's rare.
It is rare.
Really rare.
Man. I picked up a bit of news over the past couple of weeks.
Okay. What you got?
My main bit of news is that What We Do in the Shadows has been signed up for a second season.
I'll be honest.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of the first season.
I haven't seen all of the first season. I've seen a couple of episodes. As far as I'm concerned, it stands up to the film, but in a different way. I prefer the film, yeah. Okay. I definitely prefer the film. Maybe that's because I've got more of a sort of comfortable relationship with it and I know it better.
Yeah.
And like the...
How does the cast compare? Because it's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm reticent to say completely, but I think you might be right. I'm struggling to...
Is Rhys Darby in it?
I'd need to look it up. Literally, like, I saw a couple of episodes when it first came out, and then
what did it air on in this country? I haven't seen it anywhere. It's, you can say it.
I downloaded it.
Sometimes we have to. Needs must.
I feel like the second season is going to be available on Now TV.
Interesting. Hopefully that means they'll make the first season available as well then.
That's what I'm kind of hoping as well.
But the fact that it's got a second season makes me more inclined to seek out the first season, because I was a bit apprehensive, I'll be honest.
But it's still Taika Waititi,
who is just
like
brilliant.
He can do no wrong in my eyes.
And he's such a silver fox.
Oh my god, yes! I was looking at pictures of him from the SAGs. So hot. Oh my god! And I was like, you have the looks and the sense of humour and the smarts.
His sense of humour is definitely what I would describe as
eccentric,
but like whimsical.
Yeah, like quirky in a good way.
Yeah, like not weird for the sake of weird. He's just genuinely weird.
Yeah, not like, oh my god, I'm so random.
Yeah, he's not trying.
Yeah, he's not early 2000s MySpace weird. He is genetically odd.
Yes. Which just makes him all the more endearing.
Yeah. Oh, I love him. He's the kind of person that could wear elbow patches on a cardigan and get away with it. Yeah.
Just the fact that I'm desperate to see Jojo Rabbit.
Yes.
And the fact that he was like, I'll play Hitler. Yeah, cool.
I just love the fact that when he was being interviewed for Jojo Rabbit and they asked what research he'd done into his character, he was like, none, it was Hitler. He was a dickhead. Like, I didn't need to do any research. He's a terrible person.
And I think he said something like he thought it would be hysterical for a Jewish Kiwi to play Hitler. He said he thought that would be like the Hitler
biggest
mad.
middle finger. Yeah, absolutely. All about Taika Waititi. Jermaine Clement is involved in What We Do in the Shadows TV show as well. So, yes, very interested. Something tells me that they might have some sort of airtime on BBC.
Okay.
Which, frustratingly, means that it will be on US Netflix, but not UK.
Oh, I forgot that deal they've got. That's so annoying. Because I'm still waiting to see the newest iteration of Dracula.
Yep. I also wanted to see the new iteration of War of the Worlds. That was BBC drama. That's gone straight to US Netflix.
Dag nabbit.
Which means that we need to find a proxy server.
We do. Maybe we can try and get sponsorship from like VPN or something.
Ooh.
They sponsor all the YouTubers. Hello, can you hear us?
We're talking secret things, secret naughty things.
Give you girls some sponsorship, yeah? So I have a couple pieces of news.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think will make you incredibly excited.
Will it make me shit?
I really hope not.
These are brand new seat cushions.
They are. We've been so uncomfortble while recording the podcast.
Oh my
I thought
god.
I would treat your bum.
My poor bum. My poor uncomfortable bum.
It's been horrible.
Uncomfortable.
Oh. Uncomfortable? No.
Bum comfortable. We did it, boys.
I'm determined to make that work. So I have 3 pieces of news. The first one is the less exciting for everyone that isn't me.
Oh, I don't fucking care about them.
Oh.
Go on, what you got?
Rude. So in the last couple of days, the first pictures of Wyatt Russell as US agent.
Oh, that's why you're excited.
Because I've been super excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Because Sebastian Stan.
With Bucky O'Hare, yeah.
Bucky O'Hare.
That's all I can remember him as, Bucky O'Hare.
Aliens and mutants and Chides Beware.
Bucky O'Hare.
But yeah, so Sebastian Stan and Wyatt Russell.
That is like a match made in heaven for you, isn't it?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Slide off your chair.
Probably.
Leave a little snail trail.
Oh god. Ew. That's a visual that nobody needed.
I am so sorry.
No, you're not.
You're right. I don't know. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. So a lot of people are annoyed because the outfit is a little bit different to the comics. It's not what they expected.
Right. Does it matter?
No.
Does it? No, it doesn't.
Does it fuck? I'll be honest. I have never really been in that thought chamber. Like, I don't...
Oh, what, comparing films to the comics?
Even stuff I love, if they were to change the race of a main character in an adaptation of one of my favourite comics, I wouldn't give a flying fuck. As long as they nail the characterizations, they can still make them look right without them looking identical.
Yeah, agreed.
Just this... really like pedantic desire for everything to look exactly the same from page to screen, I think is unreasonable.
I think it is to a large extent. I think, however, like, I understand it to an extent because I feel like Watchmen, it was actually kind of important to have the visualization down for people like Dr. Manhattan, for example, and Rorschach.
Yeah.
So, like, to an extent... when the actual, like, outfit, for example, informs the character, then I get it.
But if it's a case of, like, oh, it's blue instead of black and red...
Oh, get fucked. Come on.
Right.
We've got better shit to be doing. Like, watching Sebastian
Half the world
Stan's
is on
pretty
fire.
face. Half the world's on fire. There's a
give
threat
a
of
shit.
nuclear war. There's a new fucking Chinese virus that's threatening to wipe out civilization.
We've got coronavirus on one hand and everyone's, like, on the other hand, just going, oh, no, it's blue.
Oh, no, I don't like that. I'm not too sure about that because it's a different colour to the comic that I bought in 1984.
But
Get a
I
life.
think he looks cool. He looks weird without a beard.
That's
I don't
very
know how I feel about
understated
that.
for you. I think it looks cool.
He's not got a beard.
Oh.
I feel...
Does he have a chin?
Yeah. Quite a large chin.
Has he got
It's
a
very
Kurt Russell
prominent
chin?
It's like...
Because Kurt Russell's got a proper bum chin.
He's got such a strong jaw, that man.
You sound so proud. My mate. Such a strong jaw. My buddy
There are
Kurt.
some good genes in that family, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, imagine having Kurt Russell for a dad and Goldie Hawn for a mum.
Just
Come on!
the most attractive family on the planet, perhaps.
All they do at Christmas is just lounge on sofas looking beautiful and
then
having
you're-
people peel them grapes.
And your step-siblings are Kate and Oliver Hudson.
Yeah, and they play like
Come
electric
on.
guitar and just talk about how beautiful everyone is.
That's what I imagine. And they just do, like, yoga and smoke weed all the time.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's my mental image of their family get-togethers.
I go home for Christmas and...
I feel like they're all so fucking chill.
Right? So relaxed.
Yeah.
It is like utter screaming chaos at home when I go home for Christmas.
I think that's the average. I think that's the norm.
Does my nutting.
Not having siblings, I am the only one making noise at my house.
So it's just you being chaotic.
Just me
at
running
home.
around yelling.
Ah!
So there's that. I have a couple more bits of news. The second one is it's just been announced that the 3-hour director's cut of Doctor Sleep is going to start streaming soon. I have yet to see any version of Doctor Sleep,
So
I'm ambivalent at the moment.
So, I know that I said the other week that I was going to be watching The Shining. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that did not happen.
Flip my wig.
You lost your tiny little shit over it. And obviously, that did not happen. I did not watch The Shining.
Can we, please?
Because I said, no, I'm going to watch it with Sarah.
Because we've been saying for such a long time we're going to watch it together.
I think we've been saying for literally years that we're going to.
No, since last year, publicly. Since last year that we publicly acknowledged that we would watch it together.
That I have never seen any film ever. Yes, we do absolutely need to watch it. And I understand it is a very long film.
It's not that long.
Do we double bill it?
Oh, we could. Maybe not with a 3-hour version of Doctor Sleep.
No!
But the regular cut, yeah, I reckon that's doable.
Okay.
You'd need a break.
I would need many breaks because I have an attention deficit disorder.
You would need ADD breaks. I would need multiple...
So many wee breaks. So many wee breaks. Like...
Between us, we'd just be pausing it every 15 minutes.
We recorded the mini-sode just before this, and then we stopped, and Phil, unfortunately, as we said, had to leave. And then Sarah was like, oh, I'm just going to go for a wee. It's like, 20 minutes!
I didn't even need one, but I didn't want...
Is it a safety wee?
It was a safety wee. I didn't want to risk going like another hour and a half. Who knows?
Oh,
it's a try.
I'm very proud of you for your forethought.
Thanks.
I legitimately had an entire page of interesting and fun horror news.
That you've left at home.
Left it at home, yeah. And I did so much research into interesting things.
We'll save it for next time. Or post it on the social media.
On the social media.
On the social.
On the social media.
That there social media.
I'm going to be posting it, I reckon.
I don't know why I went West Country.
I've no idea. It's fucking bizarre. I reckon I will probably post it to the Facebooks.
I've heard of that one, yes.
We have a thriving page over on Facebook, so yeah, I'll post it on there. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting horror news.
I'm sure it will be.
Well,
I hope you don't know about my final piece of news. You might
know.
Oh
shit! Is this the exciting bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you might know.
No, hit me. Don't. Not literally.
I am a very literal person.
Please
be careful how you phrase things.
Please do not hit me. Not in the face.
So.
Not again, Sarah.
Wow.
Carry on.
Oh, you're not gonna put the correct version of that story out there. You're just gonna leave that hanging.
Oh wait, what? When did you actually hit me?
I didn't hit you. That's the point. Wow.
I'm sorry.
So, The Colour Out of Space.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put my wine down, aren't I? Yes, I'm listening.
Which you are very excited about.
Yes, I am.
So, the team behind The Colour Out of Space,
Richard Stanley.
as in Richard Stanley,
yes,
H.P. Lovecraft,
technically he's in the team.
Technically, Spectre Vision, Elijah Wood's production company.
Is that Elijah Wood?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Is doing the Dunwich Horror next.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of Cthulhu origins.
Oh, I'm all about that.
Right? If they get a decent budget...
Which hopefully they will do off the back of...
It's getting good reviews.
Colour Out of Space. It is getting good reviews.
Surprisingly, actually.
Considering literally one of the lines in the film is, oh, I can't describe what colour it is. It's like pink.
And then everything is pink.
Yeah, that's pink, isn't it?
Pink, yeah. It's pretty pink.
It's like it's pink, but it's definitely a different colour. Mm-hmm. No, that's pink.
I would describe that.
The pink.
As pink.
The pink Out of Space.
Yes. But yeah, so I'm excited.
I am all about that.
I thought you would be. But apparently there's talk of them doing 3 films in total based on Lovecraft.
Do you think they will revisit the idea of, is it Mountain of Madness?
Oh, maybe.
Because that was a solid idea for a while and then it was shelved. Mm. And it's kind of come back and then was shelved again. And I feel like that would be so prime for someone like Richard Stanley to be directing.
I mean, I guess it depends how this does financially, because critically is one thing.
Yes.
But it's got to make a bit of money.
I'm kind of hoping that one will inform the other. So they make almost kind of like a franchise out of it with that business.
I have a lot of faith, given that Spectre Vision are behind it, because they are so invested in genre film that they would take risks on something like that, I think.
Yeah,
just for the hell of it.
So. And I'm so excited to see Stanley actually, like, back and making what looks to be an awesome film. It looks so much fun.
I wonder if he used witchcraft. to get it made.
I hope he did. A blood sacrifice. Do you know what?
Let's wait for the documentary about it in 15 years.
Where it all went to shit.
Yeah.
The notion of magic and like sigils and chaos magic and all that stuff keeps on coming up in my life at the moment.
Really?
Proper like frequency illusion from various different things, like weird stuff. Like on Facebook, I'm part of a group for weird secondhand objects, like weird secondhand objects, and somebody posted up a picture last night of like these crystal discs that she'd bought from a secondhand shop that had like sigils etched onto them and stuff.
Oh God.
It keeps on coming up in my like periphery and field of vision, like different things.
Maybe you are destined to be best friends with Richard Stanley and get him on the show.
Fuck yeah.
Goals for 2021.
Right. Dear Richard Stanley, I think you are really cool. Will you come and be on our show, please?
There's no way he could say no to that.
I'm adorable.
You are. We just need to get it. We just need to get that message to the right people.
I bet he's on Facebook.
Maybe.
Just DM him.
Not now.
Slide into his DMs. Can you imagine sliding into Richard Stanley's DMs?
I'd love it.
Just for like a picture of a raven or something.
We couldn't get him on the show though. We'd never get a word in edgeways.
No, like it would have to be a 3-hour special and just point the mic at him and go, okay, go.
Just talk. It'd just be stream of consciousness without
breath
in between.
It would undoubtedly be the best show we've ever done, though.
Of course. I'm in.
I'm messaging him.
So,
yes,
we are going to talk about the film that we just watched.
Yes.
Episode 78. I shouldn't have to explain that anymore. That's what we do every time. I don't know who I'm telling.
In this episode, we thought we'd talk about a film.
Go a little bit out there. So, once again,
yeah,
we didn't know what we were covering until this morning.
I think I picked a cracker.
I think you did. It's one that's been on the list, the short list, for a little while. I believe it was a listener recommendation, in fact.
It wouldn't surprise me because it's quite a cult. It has quite a cult following.
I think it was a write-in.
Oh.
Which I want to do more of.
That makes us sound really popular.
We are!
I mean, that makes us sound just as popular as we actually are.
Hey, the 10 people that listen to us love it.
Hi Neil and Neil's 9 friends.
Oh, and John and Paul and Chris.
John Paul.
We have mates.
And Ken.
Speaking of which, the Discord server is taking off a little bit. We've got a little cluster of...
We've got our own little family
a little
going
Gorepress
on.
fam. I love it. I love it. Everyone just checks in with each other.
It's really wholesome.
It's fantastic. We talk every day.
Talk about games, talk about films, talk about news, talk about what's going on with us at the moment.
Bit of pop culture, beer.
If there's any stuff that we are doing, then we will like notify people on the Discord that that's what we're doing at the moment. So if we're going to go live on Instagram or anything like that, then that's where we shout it out.
Yeah. And obviously we're not going to push this hard because money is tight for everybody. But if you do want in, then... It's, I think, the $1 tier on our Patreon.
It is $1 a month, which is, what, 87p?
Yes, something like that.
So,
I don't know, probably maybe slightly more than that, given that the pound keeps shitting the bed.
Yeah, fair.
Politics.
But, I mean, honestly, I personally think it's worth it from the point of view of paying for wholesome loveliness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it keeps us happy.
So go on, Sarah.
Lord knows that's hard to come by these days.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not going to go all Tiny Tim. Let's
Could we
move
just
on.
have this as a therapy session instead of talking
should.
about the film?
No, God, if we start crying.
So the film that we have watched and decided to cover this week is 1985.
85, yeah.
Demons.
Hell yeah.
Which is Lamberto Bava?
No relation to Mario.
Bava?
Yes.
That's his full name.
No, Smith.
Who's Mario Bava? Oh no, don't do that. Don't put your hand on my shoulder.
I could feel it was patronising as I did it. I'm sorry.
You're such a shit.
I didn't mean to. Mario Bava's an Italian director as well.
Okay, because I know of Dario Argento.
Yes.
And Lucia Fulci.
Yes.
And that other one. I can't remember the name of it.
Is it Lamberto Bava?
Possibly. But that's about it.
They're like the handful of the best, yeah.
The main ones.
Yeah.
Who did Contamination? That was Italian.
I don't know.
It's like the Italian shitty version of Alien. It's fucking brilliant.
Contamination? I don't know if I've seen that.
You would love it!
Well, if it's a shitty version of Alien, hell yeah.
It's like, and it's set on like hauling ship. Oh, it's fucking weird. I love it. I absolutely love it. But rather than being like in space, they're actually on a boat. Like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
But yes.
On a boat, no one can hear you scream?
I mean,
it kind of works.
Pretty sure they can. I've been on a boat before.
Did you scream?
Arguably, probably. I do tend to scream quite a lot at any given opportunity.
Regularly. Can't shut you up.
What's Rosie doing? Screaming. You know what she's like.
The usual.
So Dario Argento
produced this.
Produced it.
Yeah. He likes to have a hand in here and there.
His fingers in many Italian horror pies.
Yes.
That's gross.
That sounds carby.
I mean, it just sounds disgusting. I'm very sorry that I said it, actually.
I mean, honestly, I love Italian horror cinema. I don't claim to know everything there is to know.
Yeah.
But there's obviously quite a few sort of connections here because Michelle Soavi is in this movie and kind of is sort of well known for having been Dario Argento's protege at one point.
So were they all sort of making films at around the same time?
Yes,
sort of like
roughly
mid to late 80s.
I would say 70s onwards.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Roughly the same time, yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Michelle Soavi, well into the 90s.
So there was like a kind of Renaissance period of like...
Oh, yeah.
Italian horror.
Yeah, for sure.
Terribly dubbed
the
Italian
80s was
horror.
the peak, I would say.
Oh, man, I wish
the
I'd been
peak for
watching
most
horror
cinema.
in the 80s. Fair. Absolutely fair, to be honest.
Humans.
I love it.
So I figured that I would read a bit of the back blurb from the DVD.
For those that aren't familiar, let's have it.
I imagine lots of people will have seen it. I haven't, but... people from all walks of life have been invited to a special screening in an isolated movie theatre. Several of the attendees are disgusted by the picture, a brutal stalk and slash flick that centres around demonic possession and graphic murder. Meanwhile, a young girl who cut her face on a display mask in the foyer begins to undergo a hideous transformation. She contaminates her companion and panic spreads around the cinema. In terror, everyone rushes for the exits, only to discover that they have been walled in. As the evil spreads, events escalate into an orgy of bloodshed and madness, climaxing in a crescendo of violence.
So many sexual words there.
And then they fucked everything in the film.
I felt like that's what it was leading up to.
And just whapping dicks out everywhere. Yeah.
There were no dicks in this film, notably.
No.
No unclothed dicks.
there were many actual
dicks.
dicks.
Inside
there were some people
trousers.
acting like dicks as well.
True. Cannot argue. I think it's worth noting at this point, obviously you ran through the synopsis, but it's always good to remind people that it is at this point you can expect heavy spoilers.
Oh, absolutely heavy spoilers. We are going to spoiler the shit out of this film.
You've been warned.
Boop, 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 boop.
So, obviously this was a first watch for you.
It was. My very first impression was, what a fucking awesome soundtrack.
I mean, we all got a little bit excited because they kind of teased the soundtrack at the start.
They did. They put
With a
up
bit of a
like
title
music by
card.
Rick Springs. June. Springfield. Like, you know when in your mind goes Bruce.
Who's Rick Springfield? Was that? Did he do Jesse's Girl? Was that like his hit?
Well, maybe.
Rick Springfield.
I'm not entirely sure. Go West. Billy
Jesse's
Idol.
Girl. No.
I know the song.
Billy Idol. Yeah.
Bit Billy Idol. Not my most favourite song by Billy Idol though.
It's an obvious one.
Yeah, it's a bit on the nose.
What is your favourite song by Billy Idol?
Rebel Yell.
Right, it's gotta be Rebel Yell.
Gotta be Rebel
It's a
Yell.
corker.
Is it corker?
White Wedding can get fucked.
It's the only reason I like White Wedding is because you can sing "It's a nice day for a light sweater." It's a nice day for a cardigan.
Well, that's sticky. I appreciate that.
So yeah, they kind of they teased like the various music that was going to be in it, which I was very surprised by. Like Goblin. It's always going to be Goblin. Why isn't it Goblin?
I mean, I love a bit of Goblin.
Who doesn't love a bit of Goblin?
There's your pull quote. There's your pull quote right there.
Sarah loves a bit of Goblin. Pass it on.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Oh, I will make that into a t-shirt. So when you're not Goblin, what are you doing?
I do love Goblin. but you can get sick of Goblin.
One can Goblin too much.
There's definitely...
Are you crying?
Oh God. Phil! This is all Phil's fault. He left us unsupervised.
He did, with wine. Terrible idea. So, you love a bit of Goblin.
There is definitely such a thing as too much Goblin.
There is.
So this
full of it.
So this was like a refreshing change.
I would agree with that, because controversial opinion...
I know you don't like them that much.
They're a bit... I mean, they're a bit shit. Don't get me wrong, I love a bit of Goblin as much as the next guy. It's just all a bit samey, isn't it? Once you've heard a bit of Goblin, you've heard it all. I'm so sorry.
Goblin is muchness. From one experience to the next.
One Goblin is very much like the next.
It's very similar.
Anyway, the soundtrack to this film promised to be amazing, and it was amazing. It was on the money. Yeah. It was so good. Mm-hmm. All three of us were having a little film boogie.
I was like wiggling.
A little bit
wiggling.
Sometimes
I can't describe it as dancing.
Sometimes that's nice. Bum shuffling in my seat. I wasn't that active.
Dancing. The word dancing is definitely overselling what we were doing. Wiggling is good. I think I wrote down at some point towards the end of the film that this is the most rock and roll of all the 80s Italian horror. And I stand by that.
Yeah, for sure.
And not just for the music, for reasons we will get to later.
Ooh, yeah. So yeah, amazing soundtrack to start the film. Carried on all the way through. And like music to accurately portray not only the kind of people that are on a subway train, but how stressed out the protagonist is.
She is so stressed out.
That is exactly how I feel on public transport.
If I was surrounded by what I can only describe as a menagerie of goths on the subway, I think I would look that anxious too.
I related hard. And it was at that point that I noted that she hadn't blinked in a while.
And she continues to not blink.
That carries on throughout the entire film. She doesn't blink. Maybe like 5 times?
In the whole film.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very anti-blinking.
Yeah. Maybe they were having some sort of like off-screen competition.
Blink embargo.
She fucking won, is all I can say. I hope they paid her handsomely.
Who does she play? Like, how do I...
Cheryl.
This is another thing. They say the character names maybe once, at best.
And there are a lot of characters.
So many, who all seem to have... Although I refer to Cheryl as, like, the protagonist, they all seem to have, like, an equal...
amount of screen time.
Yeah.
And they all get their own introductions.
And the same dialogue.
She's just like... She is the person... by which we are... She's the conduit.
Yeah.
By which we are introduced to the conceit of the movie.
Yes.
And that is about the beginning and end of it. She's barely a protagonist.
I started the film knowing fuck all about any of the characters, and I ended the film knowing fuck all about any of the characters.
And actually, that's going to come up later.
And yet, weirdly, that didn't stop me rooting for them. Like it does in so many other films.
I have a difference of opinion, but I'm going to wait to share it.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. She has no sense of her own safety. Like, she starts running away from a guy.
I mean, it might have been the obnoxious soundtrack. We don't know that we were the only ones that could hear that. If that music was playing in the train station, I'd have run too.
Yeah, but then she gets to the escalator and she stops running.
Yeah.
She just stands on it and lets it
safe
carry
now.
on. Yeah. Well, like, stands on the escalator and goes, oh, I want to get away. Mustn't run on an escalator, though. It's against the law.
The floor is lava. Escalator, safe.
Yeah. Just full on stops. And then somehow the metal-faced weird Terminator guy.
I wrote down Terminator of the Opera.
That's perfect.
And since Phil said it, my brain has just been going, Terminator of the Opera. And I can't get it out of my head.
Oh, well, that's you not sleeping tonight then, isn't it? Fan Terminator of the Opera shows up. He's giving out Willy Wonka golden tickets.
Yes. That's how I understood it.
That's what they are.
Everyone's a winner, baby.
Oh, I like that song. But it's to a film showing. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they worked out it was to a film showing, because it literally says Metropole, which is a building that they don't know exists, and then it says like the time and the day that it is, and that's it.
Yeah.
How do they know it's a film?
They don't until they get there, I assume. The question is, if you'd received that invitation with such limited details, would you have gone out of curiosity?
No, but I'm really lazy. I have a lot of can't be asked about my character.
So, quick bit of trivia. The Metropole,
yes,
the building, apparently there's a building in the Silent Hill game that says the Metropole that is inspired by that.
No way. Has it got the same sort of Art Deco?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Ooh.
But additionally, the actual Metropole building in Berlin where this was filmed has actually been host to several horror conventions off the back of
that's
of
awesome.
That. So, yeah.
Like, it's a really quite beautiful building.
It's interesting, yeah.
It's got that, like, hard... Do you know what I mean when I say it's got, like, an Art Deco / brutalist vibe?
I do know what you mean. I was about to say, like, it's
very cold
it's
and
difficult
imposing.
to date.
Yeah.
Like, it's anachronistic in some ways and difficult to... I wouldn't necessarily have known what period that building was erected.
Out of everything, I would say it was mostly Art Deco, so like 1920s, 1930s.
Probably, yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me, put it that way, but yeah, I got very sort of like film noir vibes.
Yeah, in places,
especially from the like neon lighting of the sign. And...
Can I just say the interiors, say what you will, the Italians know how to light a film like nobody else.
Do. Yeah. Because realistically, some of the interior shots, the actual interiors aren't that interesting.
No.
Like, they're basically blank rooms.
A lot of them, yeah.
But the way that they're lit makes them so dynamic.
Even, like, a crawl space.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to later. But I know Suspiria has this reputation as being, like, a neon lit, beautiful horror movie. But I think that's sort of... And I would say it is one of the most beautiful horror films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I think that's sort of selling all the others short.
There was a lot of it. Also beautiful.
Yeah, there was a lot of it in that era. That sort of neon, kind of really rich primary colours.
Like high contrast.
Yeah.
Really engaging and kind of quite immersive lighting. And people focus a lot more on... It's coming in a bit more with stuff like Neon Demon, for example. With the sort of like strong contrasted lighting. But people tend to focus more on softer, more diffused, slightly blurred to become a little bit confusing lighting rather than being so confident and direct in their choices.
Yeah.
And I think it shows a real sort of... Yeah, like a real confidence of the director to go, this is how obvious I want the lighting to be. Because it's not like it fades into the background. It's obviously a very employed tactic that they've used to create a feeling in that scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's really important.
I think it's interesting, though, that it's sort of... There are a handful of films that were known for that, but actually it was a bit more prolific than we think. And it was so... Obviously, like you say, it's had a bit of a renaissance again now, but it ultimately is so sort of its time and of that era and of that place that when you see it, it's like, oh, I know what I kind of know what I'm in for here.
You can kind of place it in terms of its timeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean that spans throughout like Italian horror, definitely, but also quite a lot of other horror music videos of the time as well. Like that idea of really stark lighting and interesting, colourful lighting.
But even stuff like, I mean, obviously, like you say, now we come to expect horror movies, particularly American horror movies, to be a bit more washed out, a bit more gritty and grimy.
I mean, the remake of Suspiria is a really good example of that.
Yeah.
Like the
really
colour palette was really
colour
muted,
palette, really neutral, a bit earthy, the polar opposite. And whereas even films like Zombie Flesh Eaters, for example, you've not got the neon lighting, but it's very brightly lit and very lurid and, again, high contrast.
I kind of...
And that, like, the blood is all bright red.
I kind of love the way that they did that, because whilst it's... there's no, like, suspension of disbelief. Like, you know it's not real, because it's so lurid.
Yeah, but that's not to sort of sell the effects work, sure,
but it makes
some of it is
really
good.
Unnerving.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is
it takes you out of...
Side note, and it's something we've talked about before, that's why I think you'll enjoy Midsommar.
Oh, okay, is it really, like, bright contrast? Yeah.
Whites, bright colours, sunny, brightly lit, really unsettling.
You kind of associate, like, bright colours and bright lights and stuff with... Safety and innocence and childhood and happiness. Yeah, and fun. And I think that's why people find clowns so terrifying, because there's this, like, direct juxtaposition between terrible people and, like, these bright colours. But yeah, no, I thought that was really interesting as well. Did you notice the filter that they put onto the screen on the film when they're standing outside the Metropole looking up?
I didn't.
There's a screen filter that they use to turn the top third of the screen red.
Oh, okay.
And it's quite a bright red, and it's very foreboding. I imagine it's meant to, like, represent the sky sort of leaning over, but the actual shot of the building is looking up and at it, so it's kind of really foreboding and, like,
imposing.
leaning over. Yeah, really imposing. and it's almost like the blood's at the top waiting to fall kind of thing. So I thought that was really cool.
That's nice.
And I'm really glad that I like noticed. It's not like me to notice things like that. Go for it.
In terms of my notes, I wrote down, why does everybody have a coil perm?
Do you have a coil perm?
No, mine's natural.
No.
It's a curse.
The woman who is in the what are they fucking called? With the torch. Usher. She's got like the most amount of hair I've ever seen on any one person ever.
She has so much hair.
Oh my god. So much
All
hair.
of it on her head.
As far as I can tell.
To the naked eye. She does, and she's also dressed like Buddy the Elf.
She is dressed like Buddy the Elf.
Which I believe was one of Phil's
It
notes.
was one of
I'm going to throw that in there.
She was just so excited
him.
about Christmas, so she couldn't get over it. I could never work out throughout the course of the film if she was in on the whole thing or...
Well, yeah, but I guess that's... I can only assume that's like an intentional red herring. Because a lot of these...
she acts like she is.
Yeah,
at the beginning.
She acts really suspicious.
Yeah.
Really sus. But I think so many of these Italian horror movies were informed by mystery novellas and like whodunits, like detective novels and stuff.
Kind of like Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, so I think that mystery element kind of bled into
so they
all
just
of these movies.
Put in little bits to throw you off.
I think so. So I think she was like an intentional red herring because she did seem like she knew more than she was letting on.
And like very definite shots of like her looking in the mirror and then turning around and shining the torch and like...
And it felt meaningful.
Yeah.
Like it lingered on her for a minute.
But actually she was just another character who tried to get out as well and ended up not surviving.
Yeah.
But you never even see... Do you even see her death scene?
I think you do. Well, you...
or like in passing. But it's not... There's no like...
It depends how you define death.
I mean, her killing scene, if you like.
Demoning. No, I think you do.
Okay.
Towards the end, yeah.
I mean, none of the deaths are particularly like massively concentrated on because everybody dies.
Some of them are fantastic, can we just say? And I have no idea what the budget of this movie was. I am guessing it was comparatively modest.
Yeah, I would say so.
For the sort of horror movies that were made in this era. Some of the effects work is genuinely gut-churning.
Oh, it's disgusting.
What I can only call the tooth and nail effects in the first sort of third.
I mean, fuck me. Oh my god.
The teeth particularly
the
made
teeth
my
really
stomach
squeaked me
churn.
out. Like her front teeth pushing through.
It looked so real. That was like because obviously there was another shot where her like demon Gene Simmons tongue was coming out. You could tell it was a fake head.
Yes, it was really obvious, but it was fun.
But the teeth bit, that was a real human mouth that I don't know how they did it. But like the surrounding area was not fake. So that's what made it really squicky.
Yeah, and like just the feeling of knowing that your teeth are in your mouth kind of weird me out enough as it is.
You become very aware of them.
Yeah, and it does not feel natural.
No.
And then watching like teeth pushing through teeth. No.
And then the nails splitting.
The nails
down the
splitting
middle.
in half so claws can come through. It was so well done. The SFX was done by a guy called Sergio Stivoletti.
Well, I can only assume he's like Italy's answer to Stan Winston.
Right? Like I'm actually very surprised that I haven't heard of him before. I wonder if he's done any of the other FX stuff.
Oh, he must. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
maybe post
we're
about
gonna
it
have
online.
to. But what a guy! Like he knows his shit, and he knows what makes people a little bit sick in their mouths. And it is the scene where your dad. We'll get onto that. Where your dad falls over the barriers and then just like like neck spews all over this girl.
It was like
a bit lumpy.
It was like the horror movie version of that scene in Team America.
Yeah.
Where he's out back of the bar just throwing
up over and over again. Yeah, it continues. It was exactly like that. It was, like you say, stomach churning. Mm-hmm. So gross.
And you don't expect to be grossed out by a film like this because you don't expect it to look that not realistic. But
that was what was so jarring though, going back to like these bright colours and bright lights, and then like to have transformations and effects like that was so guttural and like close to being realistic.
Yeah.
That was really jarring.
Yeah. Agreed. And it happened on several occasions, and like it was always punctuated by weird characterizations or stilted dialogue that didn't quite fit.
Dialogue
or bad
is
dubbing.
Ridiculous.
Do you want to talk a bit about the dubbing?
What is
always
there to
worth
say
a
about the
mention.
dubbing? Realistically, it wasn't very good, was it?
It never is.
Not the worst.
Actually, you're spot on there. It's not. It's definitely not the worst
I would say it's acceptable amount of dubbing. I find like the dialogue in itself kind of adds to it being a little off kilter though. Part of the film where they're talking, a guy's talking about knowing who Nostradamus is.
Oh, there's a movie within the movie.
Oh, okay then, computer brain. What?
Read a book, bitch.
Oh, Nostradamus predicted loads of stuff. Yeah, like what? Like Hitler? Great.
And foreshadowing the demons.
Foreshadowing the demons, yeah. Like, what happens in the film happens in real life. Like, it was very on the nose. I loved that bit about it, though. I do love that bit, but the dialogue itself is a bit obvious.
Yeah, I think the dialogue in the film within the film is particularly bad, and I wonder if it's intentionally so.
I think so. I think they've gone, let's make it like a trashy B movie within a movie.
Yeah, I think they knew what they were making.
Yeah.
But I do think, obviously, we recorded the mini-sode before this, and we mentioned some of our favourite sort of stage and screen horror movies, and we mentioned The Final Girls. And obviously there's that scene where one of the women in the first third kind of goes through the screen.
Yes.
And I think films like The Final Girls owe a lot to films like Demons for kind of having done that first. But I think that's so interesting. Like, everybody who watches a film like Demons is almost certainly going to be a fan of cinema, a fan of film. Mm-hmm. And I think touches like that are just so fun.
But then I really liked the film within the film as well, had this glorious kind of like nod or like love letter to giallo films where they had the very shiny kitchen knife.
Yeah.
And held like aloft.
Killer cam.
And killer cam.
POV cam.
And the blood being like bright red.
Yeah.
And like I thought that was really cool. So they were kind of mixing like the discipline of these giallo movies with both proper B-movie horror and then the characters outside of the film like getting all scared and holding on to each other like it was a drive-in movie.
They would like there's not a doubt in my mind that a heavy inspiration was stuff like Night of the Living Dead. For sure.
Oh, definitely.
For the film and the film within a film.
For the film and the film within a film. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Just to confuse matters.
I have not seen that in so long.
I recently bought a copy of the 90s remake.
Oh.
Which I love. And I think is sort of undervalued.
Do you know,
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I'm not actually convinced if I've seen the remake.
It is... It's not... I would still choose the original.
Yeah.
If I had to. But the remake is definitely a worthy version.
Okay. Yeah. No, I do need to check it out. I do. Who brings a blind man to a cinema?
Well, it says in the trivia that was supposed to be a joke.
Right.
As if we needed that explaining.
Oh, what? So, like, a blind man turns up at the cinema and we all go, ha, how funny, a blind man at a cinema.
Lol.
Oh, how funny. This man who is missing one of his senses.
Mm-hmm. And whose eyes actually meet a grisly end further in the film.
He gets
as
like,
if he's not blind enough.
He gets extra blinded.
Yeah.
Maximum over blind.
Double blind. Yeah, so I don't know who wrote the trivia for that, but...
His niece, who's with him in the cinema, sort of like
Liz!
his seeing eye dog. There is a man who comes up and sits next to her, and I was just like, oh, there is no sense of personal space in this cinema. And then they start macking out, and he shoves his hand between her legs, and I was like, oh, there really is.
Yeah, there's a point where I was like, is he Weinsteining her? But no, it's consensual. But a serious lack of personal space.
Oh my god. Everyone just sits next to each other. Everyone sits right next to each other. Two guys sit next to our protagonists. What's her name and Kathy? Can't remember her name. Cheryl, thank you. The guy just goes, hi, I'm George. Like, get the fuck away from me.
And they immediately become the dual protagonists.
Right? They like cling on to each other and...
If somebody tried to initiate a conversation with me in a cinema while a film was playing...
Shut up and watch the film.
I would like to say that I would get aggressive, but I wouldn't. I would leave and grass them up to the usher.
That is your MO, isn't it? That's what you do.
Sometimes I
you go out
have
for
a word.
You go out for a wee and then you tell people off.
I've done that once recently.
They're eating in the cinema and it's really crunchy.
I would never grass anybody up for eating.
What about if they were eating an entire pizza wrapped in foil, separate pieces?
If it was vegan, I'd ask if I could have some.
What about if it was a pot of olives with a cocktail stick?
Ew.
Would you tell them off though?
In the bin.
Disgusting.
Not if it's not noisy.
Anyway, she bails out on her blind uncle.
She does.
And then, again, meets a grisly end.
I mean, that's kind of like horror trope 101, isn't it, though?
Sex equals death.
Yeah.
You do the naughty, you're gonna
you
get...
done die.
Yeah. I hoped that I would find something that rhymes with that, but I didn't.
Not off the cuff. Maybe we should do some more planning.
You do the sex, you get a hex. I don't know. I'll work on it. I'll come back to you in a couple of weeks.
That wasn't bad.
I'll think about it some more.
So one thing you touched on before that I think it's probably pertinent for me to bring back up is... spoiler, I love this film.
Oh, what a spoiler.
But, as you said, it's very difficult. There are so many characters in this film. It's almost difficult to figure out who the protagonist is, if there's even meant to be a protagonist. Who, like, everybody has equal screen time and equal amounts of dialogue. And like, prominent deaths.
A whole bunch of other protagonists turn up.
And it's like, oh, surprise protagonists.
But then... they do nothing.
Yeah. They serve very little purpose other than
there's
filler.
Actually quite a big run-up to them entering the theatre.
Yeah.
And snorting coke out of a coke can, which was incredibly confusing for a long time.
Well, I figured there was a joke in there somewhere.
Snorting coke.
But what the joke was not immediately obvious.
It just looked like
what
a
is
guy
in the
was...
can?
Yeah, it just looked like a guy was literally
Snorting
huffing Coca-Cola and going, oh, that's the good shit.
Yeah. The product placement was so obnoxious that it like began to rival Mac and Me at one point.
But I find it weird that Coca-Cola would be alright with the product placement being a Coca-Cola can full of cocaine.
In this film.
Yeah. Like, Mac and Me is wholesome.
I mean, that wouldn't be my first descriptor.
A kid falls off a cliff in a wheelchair.
That's not wholesome. That's horrifying.
Wholesome, Sarah. Wholesome.
Paul Rudd would agree with you.
And I fucking love Paul Rudd, so that's fine.
But the point I was about to make with the, like, 50 different protagonists is I think one of the things for me... I don't know how to phrase this without pissing people off.
Oh, God.
I love this film.
Yeah.
This is not a bad film.
Yeah.
I think what prevents it from being a really, really good film is likeable protagonists. Which is why I said I wanted to bring it up later, because I know you said you sort of rooted for these people. I disagree. I didn't think there was anyone to root for, and that is what prevents it from crossing over from enjoyable into genuinely good.
I disagree only from the point of view of there was one character who I genuinely wanted to survive, and that was Exposition Pimp.
And he, like...
Huggy Bear.
Bit it.
Quite early on.
Yeah.
And it was massively unfair, to be honest, because he was getting shit done.
And he was a prominent character. He had a lot of dialogue, and
he was a very strong character, yeah.
Bam.
And then he died like a bit of a sad death, really.
But he came back as a demon, so...
But he did come back as a demon.
That's one thing I do enjoy. When people die in this film, they never really die. You still see them again.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that.
Again, like, the actual makeup for the demons is phenomenal. Like, so cool.
And as far as characterization goes... I would go as far as to say I like every character better as a demon.
Yeah, definitely. Because they're all really mischievous.
Yeah. You know, a bit murdery.
They're like...
Mischievous is putting it nicely.
They're really cheeky with it. Just like, do you know what I mean?
They'll do it with a glint in their eye.
Rosemary, the character Rosemary, who is played by somebody who actually follows us on Instagram.
Goretta. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. I often mangle pronunciations. I do apologise. She's fantastic.
She's brilliant, and her characterisation of being a demon, I think, was maybe my favourite.
Yeah, she went for it.
Just wholeheartedly. Absolutely loved it. And it was so fun.
I feel like... But I think it looked like she was having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
If it looks like people are not having a good time, or it's a bit laborious...
Or if they're taking themselves really seriously in a film like... I say in a film like this, but like everybody knows what this film is, and everybody knows it's not like a serious piece of cinema. It's not high art.
It's not going to win anything.
No.
Oscar winner, it ain't.
But if you go into it knowing what it is and loving what you do, then it's going to be such a good experience. I think for everyone involved, whether you're watching it or being in it. I was all about her like... portrayal of a demon.
Absolutely. There's a couple things.
The glowing eyes as well.
The glowing eyes.
So iconic. I didn't realise that's where that came from. Or is it? Or
I think the Fog did it before this.
Oh.
Because I think the Fog was like 78.
Late 70s, yeah.
So I think the Pirate Ghosts had it beat.
Yeah, they picked it.
Not...
But like that, it's kind of what I would consider to be quite an iconic scene where they're all running down.
Oh, the corridor,
and it's like backlit, like black and red everywhere, and then just the glowing orange eyes. Yeah. Like loved it. I thought that was fantastic.
Anything like that where the characters are backlit as well as they were. Yeah, that looked amazing.
So good.
Yeah,
love that.
So obviously we're getting towards the end now. There's a couple things I want to talk about.
Quite sad about it.
Can we talk about Budget Ezra Miller, who becomes new Exposition Pimp? Exposition teen.
Exposition greasy teen.
With the foppish, just
How
17
did he
hair.
suddenly find his voice?
I don't know, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, I
hated him. And then I liked him.
He was really sleazy and, like, sketchy. Yeah. And then he was like, actually, let's keep all these people alive.
But annoyingly preppy as well, and a bit smug, which I never like. Oh. But then he got his act together.
Very slappable face.
Yeah. But less so as the movie wore on.
Yeah. And then he died. Oh.
But that scene, before he dies, when Kathy gets demonised... The effect of, like, the demon climbing out of her back.
That's insane.
I love that.
And then his little, like, do-do-do-do, his little, like, side swipe out the curtain. What was going on?
I don't know.
This like grotesque demon crawls out of a young girl's body and then goes, whoop, and just see ya, and like hides behind again. What the fuck?
Honestly, I wish that had been explored more. I really do, because that was the coolest looking demon in the film.
I feel like they had so many ideas for stuff they wanted to do with this film, and then they just went, oh no, we used all the budget up on the helicopter.
And the motorcycle. And the grappling hook.
The samurai sword.
This all sounds made up, but it actually happens.
No, it full on happened. Because, you know, every helicopter has a grappling hook within it. And it's completely normal for helicopters to crash through the roofs of theatres.
I often see that on the news.
Oh, it's happened again.
And then, like, this happens after his, like, the male protagonist's motorcycle Michonne moment.
George.
Where he is just samurai swording willy-nilly.
He's given them a bit of a bonk on the head, to be honest. I don't think he really knows how to use a samurai sword.
To begin with, and then they committed, and he was, like, slashing demons up left and right.
Mm. But then he realises that he can't actually ride a motorcycle.
That's true. He was doing so well.
And he stacks it like some kind of fucking idiot.
I was probably distracted by the helicopter crashing through the roof. As you would be.
I mean, fair.
Quick shout out to the poster in the background in one of the final scenes.
Oh, is there an Easter egg?
For Werner Herzog's Nosferatu.
Oh.
Which I'm assuming is why the blind guy is called Werner.
You are not just a hat rack, my friend.
Complete conjecture on my part, but I'd be very surprised if the two were not connected.
I stand that.
Cool.
Is that what stand means? Am I cool now? Am I relevant?
So. That's what they say on YouTube. I don't know.
I stand that.
That's what children say.
And I mean, one of my favourite notes. So obviously, there's some brilliant dialogue where George escapes with Cheryl. Turns out Cheryl's a demon. She gets like booted off the back of the car. They get picked up by like a jeep.
Yeah.
With a badass family in it.
Full of like children of the corn.
Gun-toting children.
Village of the Damned blonde children with
love it.
Firearms.
Love it. Maybe there's somewhere we can start a new life. Because this place is fucked, so we may as well go. Like, the most sensible line I've heard all film.
Yeah.
And then it was at that point I realised that George is the final girl.
George is the final
George
girl.
is the final girl. Like, he's really smart and resourceful and he doesn't have sex. He's the final girl.
Oh my god.
I love it. Like, and again, I went from like hating George, thinking George was the fucking worst. He was an absolute creep. And was basically like, you know, if you're scared, you can just touch my junk. But by the end of the film, I was like, oh, George, you start a new life, you young Rambo, you.
Yeah, you've given it a new spin. I enjoy George's final girl.
Right. Canon.
I'm on board.
And that kind of made the rest of the film for me. Because it went through enjoyable Italian horror to... this is very disgusting to watch. To what the fuck is happening?
Yes.
Right now. To oh George.
Yay, George.
Yay, George. And yeah, I fucking loved it.
Is that your ultimate verdict then?
Yes, hell yes. I would.
I suspected you would.
I could see myself getting like really into this and
Really?
actually quite into like the lore behind it, like the knowledge behind it as well.
There's
yeah.
a sequel.
Is that? Is it?
I haven't
good?
seen it.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know how connected it is, but I'm aware of like a Demons 2
I also
in existence.
fully want the soundtrack.
Oh hell yeah!
I want that soundtrack.
Even with the basic AF Billy Idol song.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Obviously I know that you love this film, but do you have like any sort of final words surrounding any
Not really. I mean, honestly, this sort of holds a special place in my heart because this year, 2020, marks 10 years of podcasting for me.
Oh my god.
I know.
That's so
Why am I not
lovely.
better at it by now? I've had so much practice.
Oh goodness. So it's what, like 4 years for me?
At least.
Oh.
Well, I would say like
the Gorman-treeing.
3 years for this.
Yeah.
On the reg.
Yeah.
But before that, years we did like
Bits and pieces.
like piecemeal podcasts.
Yeah.
For Gorepress, yeah.
Shit.
I would
That's
say
crazy.
longer than 4 years, yeah.
We should be doing so much better by now.
I know. But it kind of holds a special place in my heart because this was the first movie we did when we kind of decided to... Because when we first started podcasting, we did 2 films per episode.
Oh, right.
Every week.
How?
2 films a week. My business was not as busy as it is right now.
Oh, and you did it over
I had
Skype,
more free
didn't
time. But yeah, we would cover 2 films every episode. Once a week. And we only did that for under 10 episodes before we decided this isn't working. We need to go back to basics. And the first episode we did in the new iteration of the Gorepress Gorecast was Demons.
Oh.
So this sort of feels like it was a nice...
Like it's come full circle.
Yeah, it was nice to revisit a film that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
But that I've covered before. I have no idea what I said first time. Probably the same.
Probably that you really liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting for me.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah.
It's giving me the warm and fuzzies. Oh, goodness.
But I want to do something that we haven't done in a long time.
Yeah.
Because this film has sort of been universally loved on this podcast.
Uh-huh.
I want to go for a second opinion.
Oh my goodness, we haven't done that in so long.
We haven't. I don't know if you want to do one too.
What are you looking up?
Find a 2 out of 10 review on IMDb. Disappointingly, they've taken away the usernames, so we can't name and shame anymore. But 2 out of 10 review titled "Zombies from Hell." Incorrect, demons, but still. Like the clue is in the name, dude.
Zombies from hell.
So, Cheryl, a student in West Berlin, travels a subway where she encounters an eerie masked man, Phantom at the Opera style, who offers her a free ticket to the cinema. Intrigued, she asks for a second for her girlfriend Hannah. Wait, does she mean Kathy? Who was Hannah?
I don't know who Hannah is.
That evening, they arrive to the Metropole, a long-closed theatre on the night of its grand reopening. The premiere movie is a horror flick, as if taken from the annals of Evil Dead. They even find a Necronomicon-type ancient book. Swiftly and deadly, the fiction on the silver screen transforms into reality as cinemagoers start changing into zombie-like demons.
Right.
Or just demons.
Demons, yeah.
I can't help but feel that the undeserved high ranking of the movie is given in a large part due to the participation of the legendary Dario Argento.
Have you watched it?
An icon of horror movies and poster boy for Italian cinema in general.
Poster boy, he'd punch you in the face.
But in general, this movie is a total bust, with over-the-top kitsch gore, bad acting, and no interesting plot to hold it together.
That is a man who does not understand Italian horror.
Somebody's salty. It's not frightening or entertaining, and the special effects do not withhold time well. Additionally, the storyline basically is a not too clever take on zombie flicks with a slight movie-becoming reality twist. One of those movies which show that Dario Argento was slowly losing his edge in the 80s, albeit he's only culpable for script writing to an awful excuse for a movie. Somehow this gory, pointless flick got a second outing, and given it has no atmosphere or point, I am audaciously surprised with the high marks this movie has.
Audaciously surprised. He is salty.
I fail to understand the cult status and stay by the opinion that this thing is almost as bad as The Ghoulies. The Ghoulies. I think he means Ghoulies.
Yeah.
Just Ghoulies.
As are the Ghoulies.
Just Ghoulies. The Ghoulies were great. What the fuck? Why am I saying the Ghoulies?
I found 2
Oh no.
1 out of 10 reviews. And I'm going to read both of them because one of them is 2 sentences long.
Okay.
And it is by Maria Pirelli, who doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. And it says, "It's an hour and a half too long. It could have worked, but unfortunately it didn't."
I said hour and a half too long. That's so rude. That's genuinely rude.
Poe426 said it was irritatingly 80s.
That's not a thing.
The idea was a natural. A group of 80s moviegoers slither into a free screening of a slasher flick and end up being terrorised by demons from hell or a subdivision thereof. You haven't watched the film because they all turn into demons. They're not terrorised by them. Demons boasts everything that made the 80s instantly forgettable. Big hair and big music. This was, after all, the era of MTV. What? Slasher films and music video directors who couldn't direct their way out of a mall. It all amounts to one big mess of a movie with absolutely nothing to recommend it. I saw it first at a drive-in, but because time has a tendency to muddle one's memories, I opted to give it another try just the other day. My initial reaction was the same as my latest. A quick example, the victims, upon realising that they're being attacked by demons from hell, proceed to barricade themselves inside the theatre, blocking off all escape routes. They are walled in. They are walled in. There's nowhere else to hide. And for no apparent reason whatsoever, a helicopter lands on the theatre roof, which caves in. I mean, fair.
I mean, I wouldn't say for no reason. I think at that point we assume that the demon plague is wider than the movie theatre.
Lambert Barber.
Oh no.
Ain't no Mario. And how did they get away with pilfering the score for Psycho?
What?
I don't know.
I don't remember hearing Billy Idol
I was
in
about to
Psycho.
say, like, Go West in Psycho. We close our eyes, we no. Poe426, you are a disappointment to man. Although you've been an IMDb member for 18 years and a lifetime total of 1,000+ points.
That means nothing.
He has recently rated 1,335 films.
Get a life.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I think he's... Like, if he's able to rate that many films that recently, he's not watching them carefully enough.
No, he's not.
So, on that note...
But that guy...
How do you feel about Demons? Will you recommend it?
I feel very good about
forward?
it. I will recommend it. I absolutely want a copy of it.
2 thumbs up.
Like 3 thumbs up for when you really like something.
Really like something.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Fucking love it. So good.
Unanimous!
I'm very happy that I picked it out of the choices.
Cool. Me too.
Yeah, high five. Yay!
And that's a wrap.
I guess so, yeah. This has been hella fun.
It has. As always, thank you so much for sticking with us. We appreciate you more than you know. And stay spooky.
Sayonara, suckers.